Hello, my name is Matthew Gorban, and I'm very interested in biochemistry, specifically drug development. Behind me is my box, containing just a small portion of what interests me so much about this fascinating field.
Everyone has some basic knowledge about the building blocks of matter, the elements on the periodic table, from the most well-known like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, and sodium, to the more obscure like lawrencium, holmium, and actinium. Everyone knows that if you take two hydrogen and add an oxygen, you get water. Likewise, simply combining sodium and chlorine, both dangerous on their own, you get ordinary table salt. Now here's the really cool part. Molecules like these are found in nature, but over the years people have discovered how to make synthetic molecules that target specific illnesses and help treat them. For example, in the 1800s, scientists discovered that they could extract salicylic acid from the bark of the willow tree to be used for medical purposes. But because it didn't work internally, scientists made some simple molecular changes and acetylsalicylic acid, or aspirin, was born. There are three different ways that synthetic drugs operate that interest me. The first is that even if a drug is more complex, it doesn't always mean it's more effective. Aspirin is a simple drug that can not only relieve headaches, but also increase the survival rate of a person having a heart attack. On the other hand, Fusion is an incredibly complex drug. It is actually one of the largest peptides ever created by man. It prevents HIV from attaching to the CD4 cell and is important in the fight against AIDS. Neither one of these drugs is more effective than the other. The only difference is their structure and level of complexity. The second aspect of synthetic drug development that I find fascinating is that two drugs, like zafirlukust and Zulatin, are both used to treat one illness, even though they have very different structures. Both are obviously completely different drugs, and yet they do essentially the same thing, for both belong to the same class of drugs used to fight asthma. The third intriguing aspect of this field is that two drugs can have incredibly similar structures, but completely different characteristics. Let's consider Ritalin and cocaine. Ritalin is used to treat ADHD and is composed of 14 carbons, 19 hydrogen, 1 nitrogen, and 2 oxygen. If you just add 3 carbons, 2 hydrogens, and 2 oxygens, you get cocaine, a highly abusive and illegal drug.
Today, more than two-thirds of all drugs are synthetic, or made by humans. I find it absolutely fascinating that by combining the same elements in different ways, you can go from helping ADHD to asthma. But all of these drugs have already been made. It's time for me to start arranging these elements in new ways. I want to be at the forefront of drug research. I want to save lives. I want to make a difference.